All right, so let's talk about Netcapital. This is a company that just made a move that, well, it pretty much broke the charts and left everyone scrambling for answers.
I mean, look at this. The stock ticker NCPL just exploded. We're talking over 112% in a super short amount of time. It totally caught the market by surprise. Now, a jump like that isn't just noise. It's a signal. The question is, a signal of what exactly?
So, in this explainer, we're going to dig in. We're going to look at what's fueling all this hype, but we're also going to pull back the curtain on the really serious risks hiding just below the surface and, figure out what this all actually means. Okay, so let's start with the good stuff. What's got everyone so excited? This is the bull case, the story of a company that's maybe, just maybe, on the brink of a huge comeback. Yeah, this isn't some random stock spike. It's a reaction to a very deliberate, very calculated plan to basically reinvent the entire company from the ground up. And here's the game plan. You've got to appreciate the story they're telling here. First, new leadership. A new CEO steps in. Second, they go out and buy some really interesting assets in blockchain and cybersecurity. And third, they publicly declare, hey, we're done with our old business model. We're a fintech and blockchain company now. I mean, it's the perfect turnaround narrative. The market eats this stuff up. And then, as if that wasn't enough, they pull this move. They give a new employee a massive stock grant. We're talking 1 million shares. Now, you have to understand, that's not just a nice welcome gift. It's a huge signal to the market that says, we believe in this new direction so much, we're putting a ton of equity behind it. It screams confidence. So, let's recap. We've got a new plan, a new leader, and what looks like a massive vote of confidence from inside the company. Seems like a sure thing, right? A total slam dunk? Well, hold on. Not so fast. There's a whole other side to this coin, and you really need to hear it. Because, once you start digging into the actual numbers, the company's financials, that beautiful, shiny story starts to get a lot more complicated and, honestly, a lot riskier. And boom, here it is. This is where that picture-perfect story starts to unravel. While everyone's excited about the blockchain future, the reality of the recent past is, well, it's pretty grim. Revenue absolutely cratered. We're talking from almost $5 million down to under $900,000. That's not just a dip, that's a free fall. So what this tells you is that this isn't just some strategic pivot they decided to make because things were going great. No, this is a move born out of pure necessity. The old business was basically falling apart, and the company was losing a ton of money. That context changes everything, doesn't it? Okay, this table really lays out all the red flags, and they are not small. You have weak fundamentals, that revenue collapse we just saw. But then there's the execution risk, which is massive. Saying you're going to pivot to blockchain is easy. Actually doing it and making money from it, that's incredibly hard. It's like trying to build a new plane while you're already in the air. Add to that a history of losing money on investments and a rally driven by pure hype, and you've got a recipe for a potential disaster. So you have these two totally different stories, right? The exciting turnaround versus the scary financials. So putting all that aside for a second, how are traders looking at the stock purely from a price chart perspective? What are the key levels they're watching? All right, the first number to watch is right around 60 cents. Traders see this as a potential support zone. Think of it as a possible floor where buyers might decide to step back in if the price drops. Yeah, you can think of this as the prove it level. This is basically where the stock was just sitting, doing nothing, before all this news hit. So if it falls back here, the big question is, do buyers see a bargain or do they see a failing company? That's what traders are watching for. Okay, now for the other side of the chart, the ceiling. That's the resistance zone. And for NCPL, that level is forming right around $2.50. And this level is like a psychological wall. If the stock hits this price and sellers come out in force, it could be a sign that the rally's run out of gas. But, and this is a big but, if it can punch through that wall decisively, you could see a whole new wave of momentum traders jumping in, trying to ride it even higher. Okay, let's bring it all together. We've got this tale of two completely different companies wrapped up in one stock ticker. On one hand, an exciting turnaround story. On the other, a struggling business with a mountain of risk. So, what's the verdict here? Really, the best way to describe this whole situation is to call it what it is, a classic turnaround lottery ticket. And that's the key takeaway. This is a super high-risk, potentially high-reward play. The payoff could be huge if they pull it off. But let's be real, the chances of failure are also incredibly high. This move is fueled by hope, not by actual proven results.
This quote from the analysis just nails it. It says, "This remains more like a lottery ticket than a stable long-term investment." I mean, that says it all, right? If you're looking for something safe and steady, this is definitely not it. But if you're looking for a highly speculative bet on a massive turnaround, well, this is what that looks like.
So at the end of the day, it really boils down to this conflict. You have the hope, this promise of a bright new future in a hot sector. And then you have the hype, a stock surge built on some really shaky fundamentals. Which story is going to win out in the long run?
So how will we know? How can you tell if this turnaround is actually legit or just smoke and mirrors? Well, you can't just stare at the stock price all day. You have to look for some very specific signals.
And here's your checklist. Don't just follow the headlines. Look for real, tangible progress. Are they actually launching products or signing partnerships? Is the new management team putting their own skin in the game by buying stock? Critically, what do the financials say? Are they still burning through cash at an alarming rate? These are the clues that will tell you whether this is a real transformation or just a flash in the pan.
So, that leaves us with the big question. Will Netcapital's story become the new blueprint for a successful turnaround? A tale of bold vision and sharp execution? Or will it end up as a cautionary tale about the dangers of chasing hype over substance? Only time is going to tell, but the answer will reveal a lot about what kind of stories the market is willing to bet on right now.